Kamala Harris highlights January 6th attack in final pitch to voters as Election Day nears. Washington, D.C., in the final days before Election Day, Vice President Kamala Harris is reminding voters of the January 6th Capitol attack in a powerful closing argument, drawing a direct line between the events of that day and her vision for a unified, stable future. Campaigning in key battleground states. Harris has emphasized the importance of protecting democracy, urging voters to consider what she describes as the hard-won resilience of our democratic system in light of the Capitol riots that shook the nation. Harris has repeatedly described January 6th as a critical moment in American history, underscoring the role of government in preserving democratic values. She argues that the attack's legacy serves as a reminder of the dangers posed by extremism and has promised to uphold the rule of law and strengthen democratic institutions if elected. "Our democracy is not a given," Harris said at a recent rally in Pennsylvania. "It's something that generations before us fought for, and that we must continue to protect for those who come after." A focus on stability and unity. Harris's closing message contrasts her vision of restoring stability with what she frames as the divisive rhetoric of her opponent, former President Donald Trump. By reminding voters of the stakes on January 6th, she seeks to mobilize those concerned about potential political violence and disruptions to the democratic process. The vice president's speeches are part of a broader strategy by the Democratic Party to appeal to independents, moderates, and suburban voters, many of whom were unsettled by the Capitol riot and are wary of a return to polarized leadership. Harris calls for accountability and stronger safeguards. In addition to rallying her base, Harris has used the closing days to reiterate her platform of increased transparency, election reform, and policies designed to curb domestic extremism. Her campaign has focused on restoring faith in institutions and fostering a collaborative government to tackle major national issues, including healthcare, education, and economic stability. The message has resonated with audiences who see January 6th not just as an isolated event, but as a wake-up call to the fragility of the nation's democratic safeguards. Reaching undecided voters. Political analysts say Harris's focus on January 6th is a deliberate move to sway undecided voters who may be ambivalent about the election. According to a recent pollster, the Capitol attack remains a concern for many voters, particularly independents and young voters, who prioritize democratic integrity and stability. "It's a potent reminder," said analysts name a senior fellow at think tank. Harris is tapping into the electorate's desire for safety, stability, and a clear stance on the country's direction. Harris is expected to continue emphasizing the legacy of January 6th in her final campaign events, urging Americans to reject extremism and embrace a future of cooperation and respect for the rule of law. As voters prepare to cast their ballots, her closing argument reflects a commitment to a united and resilient America, one built on the lessons learned from the nation's darkest moments.